Alright guys, Planet Tank update day 23. Today I added the 2 more Harlequin Rasboras. So there's 4 now. They've already started schooling. I'm looking to add at least 2 more of these guys. Probably have a total of 7 eventually in the next few weeks here. I'm going to add a Cory cat tomorrow, hopefully. So there'll be 3 of these guys. They've been doing pretty well. I've been feeding them the shrimp pellets and the veggie wafers. They seem to like the meat a little better. This is kind of their favorite spot. I don't know why. I guess they like the cover, the thick jungle back there, and this little open space. I've noticed the Rasboras are more active now that they have four of them. Can't wait to see them once there's, 6 or 7 of those guys in there. As for the plants, I guess we'll start over here. The Anacris. As usual, it's growing pretty fast. I've seen some new growth off of these stems that I hacked the tops off. There's some buds coming off, so it'll be a little bushier eventually. And I'm looking forward to when all these reach the top, because that'll fill in the back nicely. Right now it's a little too open. I just wiped down the walls and did a water change, 25%. So the tank's looking good right now. That Rotella back there is growing pretty tall, which is what I'm going for. It's also growing a lot greener than the old growth. So eventually I think the whole plant will be green like that. It's probably due to the low light in this tank. I'm fine with that though, as long as it's growing. There's the school of them. The ones I just added today look a little slimmer, so I think they might be males or just a little different. They're from a different batch from the store, so we'll see how they do. Crypspiralis in the middle here. It's been growing extremely fast as always. We've got a bunch of runners starting to form. That's kind of new. You can see one right there, one right there, one right there, a couple over there, and that's actually because the roots, when I planted it a little sideways, the roots, so they're coming out this way, and now they're shooting up little runners. I'm kind of letting them go right now, but I'll probably tear most of them out, maybe leave 1 or 2 in, the ones that are in this area. I'm really liking how this is filling in right now because the jungle val is still adjusting back there. There is new growth, but as you can see, still some melting going on at the end of these larger leaves. Java fern, I moved one from this rock over there, and then I moved the Windelove one that used to be here to this middle section, just to make that centerpiece even larger. I felt like this was, with the Windelove over here, the Java fern, it was all the way up here. It was kind of blocking this area off, and it sort of looked like there were 2 center points, which I didn't really want. So Once that anacris back there, once it grows up to the top, then we'll have this solid look, like this pyramid that I was kind of going for. And hopefully this stuff stays low. I might have to trim it once in a while, letting this stuff grow really big though. The dwarf sag. It's growing pretty tall still. A couple leaves up to 6-7 inches. And that's also melting still. Seems like these grass type plants, the jungle val and the dwarf Sagittarius, are a little slower to adapt. They drop their leaves a little later than some of the other plants did. So, but they're still they still have a lot of new growth, and they're starting to fill in this foreground nicely. The baby tears, I've kind of left them where they were since the last video, so they've been getting taller, but I'm thinking of just leaving them there, not really spreading them out any further. I'm liking this open space for the cories, and like I said in the aquascaping video, you need to have a little bit of open space. So the Ludwigia is melting a lot of leaves still on the bottom. You can see there, it's a bunch of those leaves that are withering away. But the tops are growing nicely. Good green color. I like the shiny leaves. So that's also a slow one to adapt. With the Rotala back here, the stems I hacked down, I don't remember, a couple weeks ago maybe, probably 10 days or something. They're starting to branch off in a few areas. Let's see if I can get one on here. There's a few back there. It's hard to see. Right there maybe. Where I hacked them off, they're starting to branch out, which is encouraging. I didn't know if they would survive that, but it looks like they're doing fine, just like the anacris. And that's going to give that area a little fuller look, other than just the singular stems with one branch straight up. That's about it. Ammonia levels are 0. I tested them yesterday before the water change. And just so you guys know, when you add prime during your water change, it actually affects your testing results. So it's good to wait at least 24 hours before testing again the water, or just test it before you change the water. I didn't know that, so that's what I'm doing now. I've still been killing the snails as I see them on the walls. Noticed a few larger ram's horn snails lately. I've actually kept some, taking them out and keeping them in my Remo moss ball cups upstairs. If you watch my other video, you'll see that. Oh, and I did notice some hydra growing on some of this dwarf sag and the wall right next to it, this glass wall. So I took that off. Hydra is sort of a weird tentacle-like plant that grows with these little streamer tentacle things off of it. It actually can sting your fish. It will kill really small fish if you're, breeding, and it might also kill shrimp and that sort of thing. They also feed off the copepods, and I just had a copepod outbreak a couple weeks ago, so I think they might be going after those guys. And that's just another thing to add to the list of pests that have gone through this tank. It's sort of interesting though, seeing one pest, eat another, and then another one comes along and takes care of the next, and eventually this tank will be balanced out and we won't have to deal with that anymore. So the hydrate, it's not, detrimental to a tank at all. So if you see it in yours, there are chemicals you can add. I recommend not using that for really any case with a tank. I wouldn't risk adding chemicals, even if they do work. There's always a natural way of taking care of it, and most of the time the chemicals just hide the problem, and you want to find that root solution and just fix that. Otherwise you're just putting a band-aid on it. These guys are looking good. I was afraid at first when I first put them in, they weren't schooling. They kind of paired up, the two that were in there and the two new guys on opposite sides of the tank, and eventually one went over to the other group of two, and then they sort of joined forces, so that was sort of fun to watch. I'll maybe show a video of it the next time I add two more guys next Saturday. So exciting, adding new fish. We'll check on it in a few days here once I add that next Cory catfish. And then next Saturday when we add two more of those rasboras. And maybe some shrimp too. So thanks for watching.